quick talk. I did one on courage. I think there's another virtue of humanity that we really need to discuss here. And this virtue has huge implications towards science, scientific discovery, sharing discovery with people, and generalized, just being a human being around others as these processes are occurring, as you make discoveries, as you have results, and you do science, and you share your results with people. And that virtue is not courage. I think another one of the highest virtues that I had ignored was compassion. I have a little paper here I'm going to read for you. Compassion is the emotion, I would say it's a virtue really, that one feels in response to the suffering of others that motivates a desire to help. Compassion is really the act of going out of your way to help physical, spiritual, or emotional hurts or pains of another. Compassion is often regarded as having an emotional aspect to it, though when based on cerebral notions such as fairness, justice, and interdependence, it may be considered rational in nature and its application understood as an activity based on sound judgment. So in other words, we have a compassionate person being reasonable, rational, justice-minded, basically somebody who really gets it. That's a compassionate person. And that's what I think a lot of astronomers these days, I don't think they have compassion towards others. I think they're so inside of their own mental bubble that they don't realize that the ideas that they have out there are supposed to be helping us, are supposed to be giving us new insight and easing the mental suffering of a lot of people out there. Just going out there and claiming, oh, Big Bang did it, you guys are all idiots. That's not compassion at all. Compassion is saying, well, sure, you want to believe in God, or you want to believe in your religions, and you want to believe this or that. And I feel your pain, because a lot of what we understand is actually not understanding at all. But they don't do that. They claim to understand everything, and then they ridicule others who proclaim their own ignorance, that say, oh, well, I just don't really think this is true. And then they just call them names and they ridicule them. And that's the kind of anger-fueled mentality of a lot of online science forums. These people, they go to online science forums and they ridicule others. They put them down. They say, you're an idiot. You can't possibly understand what you're talking about because you don't have an education. Well, newsflash. The people who don't have compassion failed their kindergarten class when they learned the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Or what's that, the platinum rule? Treat others the way they want to be treated. You don't sit there and ridicule people because they're lost or they're confused. You have to show them compassion. You have to understand that they're not going to really know what's going on. And that's a struggle I'm having with my own theory development as well. It's a very hard lesson to learn, how to be compassionate towards these supposed educated people who want to ridicule you and put you down, and in some cases blacklist you from publishing in academic journals. And yes, blacklisting does happen. And basically, you have to learn that we're human. We're not going to have all the answers to things. But that doesn't mean you can just lack compassion towards other people, lack that willingness to help ease their suffering. And on another note, I think a scientist, if they really want to show compassion towards others, and they're suffering and, they're clueless, they don't know what the point of life is just to say, if they ask you a complicated question, what caused the Big Bang, or how did the Earth form, or, what is all this stuff, just say you don't know. Just be honest with yourself. But when you sit there and put out an answer of all this stuff, and you have to go to school and you have to study all these textbooks, it just makes you look conceited. It just makes you look like a fool. a real compassionate astronomer slash physicist or scientist has to show others that, hey, we don't know what we're doing. They have to admit ignorance. Because the public, they know that, scientists are always baffled. They see scientific articles that have baffled written all over it. So what you should really do is practice the golden rule. Go back to your elementary school education and learn that there are people out there that want to know what's going on, but our leaders in the scientific community, they just don't have enough compassion in their hearts to really get what it means to be human. And of course they're not going to teach that in graduate school. That's a very, very deep-seated lesson you have to learn when you're a child. But I think that really sums up this this talk. And for my readers and listeners, when you go to online forums, realize that a lot of those people who are angry and want to spit venom at you and call you names, just realize they're just scared. They don't know what they're doing. Just let them have their little whatever it is that they think they have. They can't handle the truth anyways.